Welcome to the third segment of the Lewisburg Speaker Series. My name is Dan Carey. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist for UPMC in the North Central Pennsylvania region. I want to recognize our Spirit of Women members. Thank you for joining us. If you aren't a member, you can go to upmc.com/NorthcentralPA and check out our customized outreach programs. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Dr. Robin Spangler. She is a family medicine physician in the Lewisburg area. And we're here to discuss just some physical exams, vaccinations for the school-age children, and hopefully get some advice for keeping the kiddos healthy throughout the school year. So without further ado, Dr. Robin Spangler, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So we all want kids to be able to do their best in school this year, as well as to stay healthy. Seeing their doctor early on if they haven't already had a yearly exam is a good idea to be sure they're starting out well. They'll be checked for appropriate growth and development, screening for any problems with vision or hearing, and their vaccinations will be reviewed. Most recommended vaccines are required for school entrance. These are DPT, polio, MMR, hepatitis B, and chickenpox for kindergarten or first grade, Tdap and a meningitis shot for 7th grade, and a meningitis booster in 12th grade. In addition to those, there are others that are recommended but not required. Those would be hepatitis A and Gardasil or HPV. Also now the COVID shot is recommended over age 12. Vaccinations help to protect the receiver from some serious illnesses and also help others who can't get them for various reasons from being exposed. Good nutrition is important for kids to stay healthy and to be able to do their best. From age 1 to 8, they should drink 2 cups of milk a day and 3 cups over age 8. Limit sugary drinks like soda or sports drinks. These add a lot of calories with no nutritional value. Fruit juices do have nutrition, but also a lot of sugar, so limit them to no more than 1 cup a day. They should eat fruits and vegetables of a variety of colors. Fruits aren't usually a problem, but kids typically don't go for many vegetables, so it helps to be creative. It's fun to dip raw vegetables or cover them in cheese. Sometimes by cutting them in tiny pieces, they can be added to other foods and not noticed. Also encourage kids to try one bite. Often they'll find that they like something that they didn't like before. If you pack lunches, try to include fruit and vegetables in a fun way. After-school snacks are another time to be careful with nutrition. Try for something healthy like cheese or peanut butter instead of chips or cookies. Back to school is a good time to also think about exercise. School-age kids should get 60 minutes a day of physical activity. This should include aerobic activity like walking, running, or riding a bicycle, as well as muscle strengthening like climbing. There are lots of organized sports around, but being active doesn't have to mean playing on a team. Most young kids will do this naturally when playing outside, but older kids may need some prodding. Exercise is obviously good for their bodies, but it's also good for brain development. Sleep is another aspect of health that can have a big effect on school performance. While after-school activities provide many benefits, you need to be careful not to overschedule the day. Many of us, including children, are sleep deprived. This can lead to learning difficulties. Lack of sleep causes problems with focus and attention that looks a lot like ADD. It also makes it harder to process new information. Children 6 to 12 years on average need 9 to 11 hours a day, and from 12 to 18 years, 8 to 9 hours a day. If your child is hard to wake up in the mornings or needs a nap in the afternoon or is moody, it could be due to lack of sleep. Electronic devices such as video games, TV, phones, and computers take up more and more of our kids' days. While these can be fun and educational, they need to be used in moderation. They are designed to be addictive, which is why kids will spend hours a day on them. On average, kids in the US spend 4 to 6 hours a day in front of a screen, and teens may spend up to 9 hours a day. This leaves little time for anything else. It's recommended to limit screen time outside of schoolwork to 2 hours a day and to turn off screens during mealtimes and family activities to promote interaction, and 1 hour before bedtime to not interfere with falling asleep. Of course, a big concern this year is COVID. Unfortunately, this is something that may be here to stay, at least for the near future. Children have have been at less risk. However, that doesn't mean no risk. And the Delta variant seems to be a higher risk for kids. The vaccine is approved over age 12 and is recommended. Things keep changing with COVID, and just yesterday, what I was planning to say about masks changed as the governor issued a new mask mandate for schools, so it's no longer optional. Masks are really the only protection for kids under 12 who are too young to get the vaccine, but they also have their drawbacks, as we've all experienced. Social distancing is helpful, but very difficult to maintain with young children. Good hand washing is always a good idea, not only to help prevent COVID, but all the other infections like colds and flu that spread through schools.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Spangler. Such a wealth of knowledge. I want to remind you all tuning in that you can submit your questions in the box below. Now, Dr. Spangler, we've heard rumors of an RSV breakout. Do you have any advice on what we can do to help prevent this from getting out?
RSV has been around for years. It's not a new infection. In school-age kids, it's generally just appears as a cold, typical cold symptoms. Real young kids and elderly and those with some other medical problems, it can be very, very serious. But basically, the best way to prevent it is just with hand washing, covering sneezes.
Yes. Okay. And I guess with that, even how do we know as parents when our child's symptoms warrant a call to the doctor?
I generally tell people if it's something that is concerning to you, if it seems out of the ordinary, then definitely call. And it's always better to be checked and find out that there's nothing to worry about than to sit at home with something that is serious and not take care of it. But high fevers, if the child looks lethargic, if they're not eating, obviously if they're sick, their appetite's going to be decreased. But if they're not eating anything, any kind of mental status changes, those are things that I would be very concerned about.
Yep. When will the flu shot be available?
It usually comes out in September.
Okay.
But September, October is usually the best time to get it.
And now when will the children be able to get it at the doctor's, or do you suggest anywhere else where they should go to get it?
Obviously, yes, you can get it at your doctor's office. I know that the pharmacies give it out to adults. I'm not sure if they
do
give it to children or not.
Okay. Now, do you, what advice, I guess, would you say do you have for parents that have picky eaters if they're not getting the proper nutrients? Like, which route should they go?
So it's always better to get your nutrition through food than through supplements. There's something about how it's absorbed, how it acts in the body if you get it in food. Like I was talking about, typically vegetables are the hardest thing to get into kids. And just trying to disguise it the best way you can, making it fun, having kids involved in preparing the meals.
Yes.
They're more interested in eating it then.
Would you say smoothies are a good edge?
Smoothies are a great thing. Yeah. Like I said, if you can hide vegetables in food, that's always a good way to get it in.
Ice cream and vegetable smoothies. I was just joking.
Yeah. Ice cream. Yeah. But covering vegetables in cheese, a lot of kids will like that. As I said, dipping vegetables, raw vegetables. Kids love to dip stuff. So that's a good way to do it.
What advice do you have, or as you were, I'm sorry, just thinking about these nutrients. You said in there about kids getting 4 to 6 hours of screen time.
Yeah.
Now, you think when kids are going to school now, they also have all the screen time there, essentially. They're working the remote. I guess they've introduced it to the school setting this year. And I've seen that even going to my daughter's school. What advice do you have from that perspective? Because regardless, they're in front of that screen. They're doing everything electronically, even inside the schools.
Yeah. Other than being hard on the eyes, to spend that much time in front of a screen, I don't know that that's all harmful. It's the screen time with the video games and the social media. That's where there's issues with that. You really want to limit it. If they're doing their schoolwork, that's just what they have to do, especially as schools close on days and you have to do all the work from home. That's all going to be on screen.
Okay. Do you see like an influx of things that could be on the horizon? Like you spoke to the whole COVID. You know, it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
But let's push that off of the table just real quick. Is there anything else that is just maybe on the horizon for parents that you want to put out there to say, hey, let's pay attention to this? Any sicknesses per se, or just good practices, I guess, besides the masking and spacing?
Yeah, honestly, infectious diseases on the whole have been down other than COVID because of all the precautions with COVID.
Yes.
So like last year, there was almost no flu season because everybody stayed home and didn't interact with anybody else. So the one downside to that I see is without getting that constant low level of exposure,
yes,
that I'm not sure how, once we do go back, hopefully someday, go back to normal interactions, if we're going to be more susceptible because of not having that low level.
There we go.
So just have to wait and see what happens with that.
Do you have any advice for just the kids besides the parents? When they get home today, say, hey, Dr. Spangler said this.
Get up and go do something active.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's, I mean, I know I'm raising kids myself now, and I think about the times of when we would go outside as kids and go play tag and just be more free. We didn't have all the screens, and it's taking a quick rise. Like, how dangerous is that, do you think, even from the...
Dangerous to go out and play?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember growing up and we'd spend all day outside.
Maybe I should rephrase it as like from an obesity aspect.
Yeah. But, you know, we would go play outside all day and come home when it was time to eat or go to bed. And nowadays, I think with parents not being home, they're out working more, is one aspect of it. I think there's a lot of fear that something's going to happen to kids,
yes,
which, yes, happens, but I think is very overblown. And I think it would be good for kids to get out and play more. And, you know, sitting inside all day is probably not the healthiest thing to do, and definitely gives rise to higher risk of obesity. Your metabolic rate is lower watching television than it is sitting and reading a book. So sitting in front of a screen just really lowers your whole metabolism. And then there's also the tendency to eat while you're sitting in front of a screen.
Okay.
And so you tend to overeat more. And so, yeah, I think it would be really good to get kids outside more.
There we go. You heard it from Dr. Spangler. Get outside now. That's what they need to tell their
Probably
kids.
not today.
Well, I think that may have just wrapped us up here for today. And thank you, Dr. Spangler, for joining us and giving us all your wise wisdom. If you want to find out more about the doctors and the Lewisburg area, you can go to UPMC.com/Lewisburg. Thank you for joining us today. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Spangler.